What's going on, everybody? Sunny Games here. Now, Sparking Zero and Project Multi are right around the corner. Some of them are a little bit more around the corner than the others, but this really got me thinking about all my childhood Dragon Ball games. So the topic of this video is basically me just going over my favorite Dragon Ball games, right? I want to talk about those. I want to say some like good things, maybe some bad things here and there, but overall, I want to tier list my favorite childhood Dragon Ball Z games. Practically all of my childhood Dragon Ball Z games, because to me, being a child, all of that shit was badass. So without further ado, let's get into it. So to start it off, the first game on this list is going to be none other than Budokai Tenkaichi 2. This was the game that started it all for me on the PlayStation 2. This is actually what really got me into Dragon Ball, because at first I was watching Nicktoons, if you remember that, But yeah, I was watching Nicktoons and I watched Goku shoot a Kamehameha at a spiky-haired guy that now I know is named Raditz, and that got me hooked. So I got the game, and the story mode in this game, that's what I really want to focus on. It's massive. When I'm saying like you go from Raditz Saga to GT, I mean that in the most literal sense. It is the thickest story you could possibly get because it sprinkles in what ifs. And then the what ifs go on for a little while. Like, it's not just like a one-off battle or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure if you watch Globku, he went over it recently. Raditz, like, I don't know, like a Cyberman blows him up and then he loses his memory. And then well, I mean, the game's like pretty old, so this isn't really a spoiler, but a spoiler alert. He eventually regains his memory, has a fight with the Z Fighters, and then he gets in his ship because he's feeling conflicted, and then flies his ship all the way into Vegeta and Nappa's ship, blows them up, and then Goku lives happily ever after, you know, until the androids come and kill everybody. Alright, so I didn't go over this initially, so basically how I'm ranking this is my overall memory as a child, like how it made me feel, so I'm not going to go like into details about every little thing, you know what I mean? But Budokai Tenkaichi 2, if I had to put it anywhere, it would be A tier, and here's the reason why. Because it excelled in two things, and I forgot to mention this in the video. It was the story and the music. The music is second to none. I don't think there has been a Dragon Ball Z game that came out post Budokai Tenkaichi 2 that had a better soundtrack. If you like Dragon Ball games, you should go listen to the soundtrack. This needs to be in Sparking Zero, but yeah, nah, A tier for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm gonna keep it a $1.50. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is going into Z tier, and let me tell you why. Okay, so Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was just that game. It was that guy. If you were out there in 2007, whether you were a kid or an adult, this was the game that you were popping in your PlayStation 2 or your Wii and you were playing. Now, I think Wii had it better because I think they could play online, but that's not what we're talking about. We're gonna talk about the combat. Like, the Z countering alone, like, you just had to, like, be able to know how to time that. And then also, not to mention the Sonic Sways, the amount of counters you could do, going into full power and knocking your opponent around and then hitting them with the beam. And then also, you could sweep their leg if you flick the stick down, and then you could grab them by their ankle and throw them into the sky and then hit them with an ult or like a beam or anything. It's just so good. I don't think there's really been an arena fighter that has really like scratched that itch that Budokai Tenkaichi 3 did, so thank God we are getting Sparking Zero. Also, beam clashes is just insane in this game. Like, it gets tough, but if you're fast enough, you got it. Like, honestly, I think the beam clashes in this game is just better than Sparking Zero, but I'm just glad that we're getting beam clashes in general. Not to mention melee clashes, and then you have stage destruction, the music, like everything just clashes into one of the greatest arena anime fighters of all time. So yeah, enough said, Z tier. Absolutely. Moving on. Alright, this next game is called Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi, otherwise known as Rock, Paper, Scissors. Now, if you don't know, the reason why people call it Rock, Paper, Scissors is because essentially this is how the melee works. You run in, you fight, you have a choice whether to do a light or a heavy, and if your opponent chooses light or heavy, which means if you choose heavy and they choose heavy, it counters, and then it resets, rinse, repeat. It's terrible, and I don't ever want to see this combat style in any Dragon Ball game. Even if it's a fan-made Dragon Ball game, keep it out. The only things that I like about this game was the boss battles because it introduced QTEs in this game, and I loved it to death. And then also, the health bar up there, I like that. I think that's my favorite type of health bar. I know that that's like real niche, nobody ever talks about the health bar, but I think numbers really suits Dragon Ball because of the power level thing. So, that's cool too. And also, this was the first like game that paved the way to custom created characters, and I think that it did a pretty good job with doing it. You know, just introducing us, opened the door a little bit. But we all know the real game that did it the best. But other than that, yeah, if I had to put this anywhere on the list, I'm gonna put it in C tier, only because I'm being nice. All right, so C tier, let's just put it there. Move on. Also, quick tangent, 2 things. So I was only monotone about this because this is the least exciting thing to review, but you know, it's still part of my childhood, so there's that. Also, the beam clashes in this game, I forgot how beautiful they actually look. This is probably the best out of all of them, hands down. So yeah, I'll give it an extra point for that, but it's still gonna be in C tier. Alright, so this next game is Dragon Ball Shin Budokai Another Road. So this game is a little bit different. Now, I'm not going to talk about the gameplay and stuff like that because I never was really good at it and I don't really know too much about Budokai games. This is my first one, but I want to talk about the story. So the story is basically just the Buu saga in the future, but what makes it kind of cool but fanficky is like Trunks and Bulma have a way bigger time machine, and which makes sense, I guess, and they go into the past and they recruit all the Z fighters, I mean everybody, and they come to the future. Babidi is going into their minds and like making clones of the Z fighters and also their past villains that they fought. Babidi also goes to Namek, right? New Namek, and he's trying to get the Dragon Balls, and just so happens Cooler is there, and also Broly is there, so we have to fight them and get the Dragon Balls, and then we have to come all the way back to Earth, and we recruit Dende to be the guardian of the new future timeline Trunks Earth, I guess. And then we try to do the potential unleashed Gohan thing, but then like that doesn't work, so we have to go to heaven, and future Goku is there, and Bardock is in heaven for some reason. And future Gohan, you're probably wondering what's going on with him. Yeah, no, he's in heaven, but he's also in hell because he's constantly fighting Android 18 in his mind, I guess, every single day, and nobody can help him. So yeah, there's that. But at the end of the day, he gets Super Saiyan 2 and he gets his ultimate future Gohan form, so that's cool. Also Super Saiyan 4 is in this game too. It's hard to unlock, but yeah. But if I had to say anything about this game, man, the story mode was fucking crazy. I like it. It's chaotic. It makes no sense. You can literally smell the plot holes like in every single arc. But it was entertaining, and it was part of my childhood. I have to give it. I'm gonna give it a B because the story was just so good. It was just so fun to go through. Alright, so Dragon Ball FighterZ is a little bit tricky for me to rank, only because I didn't really play it that much. Like, I played it when it launched, and then I played it maybe a year after, so about 2017, 2018. But from what I remember, I loved the fact that they let you play 3 characters, and you got to play against another 3 characters. And also, if you had enough people, if you had like 6 people, you could run a custom lobby in a lobby going 3v3, so it would be like 3 people on one team, 3 people on the other team, you just tag each other out, and you just duke it out. I love that. Mixed with dramatic finishes, the animations were cool, characters were like actually unique. Like, I was a Videl in Android 18 kind of person. I don't remember how to play any of those characters, but I love them, and I'm going to be playing them in Sparking Zero. I didn't really play the story mode that much. I thought it was kind of boring, so I put it down, but overall, just for it being a 2.5D fighting game, it excels in so many different ways, man. It's just so good. If you haven't played that game, I definitely highly recommend it. It takes some actual skill to play, but if you're just playing with your buddies, you could definitely have casual fun for sure. But being like 17 when I played it, I couldn't do it, man. I just wasn't skilled enough. But if I had to put it anywhere, I'd definitely put it A tier for sure. Absolutely. Alright, so Xenoverse 1, I'll always hold a special place in my heart for it because it actually gave us custom creative characters, which is something like I've always wanted in Dragon Ball games. So Xenoverse was pretty much like the first to do it besides Ultimate Tenkaichi. You basically got to play as Frieza, Namekians, Saiyans, Earthlings, and Majin Buu race. I chose the Saiyan race so that way I could go Super Saiyan. By the way, you could only go Super Saiyan 2 in this game, and I would like use Blue Hurricane and just destroy anybody in PvP doing that. It was cheese. But Xenoverse is known for cheese, so hey, sue me. The story mode is basically you just go from the Saiyan Saga all the way to Battle of Gods, just recorrecting the timeline, and then you fight Demigra, which he also pulls a Zarbon. Like, he goes from looking handsome to looking like this. Like, I'm pretty sure that looks like Yakon, am I right? Am I tripping? But that's besides the point. Also, the parallel quests, there's not that many, especially not as much as Xenoverse, because Xenoverse is just pumped with DLC, and I'm talking about Xenoverse too. But yeah, no, what I liked about it the most was just going through the parallel quests so I can get Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That was it. Other than that, that's all I did in this game, man. That was it. And that was enough, because at the time, it was like, what, 2014, 2015, Battle of the Gods had just came out. You know, Resurrection F was like amongst the horizon. This was all we had pretty much for new content with Dragon Ball. So yeah, man, that's Xenoverse.
Attention, all proud warriors.
Now, if you hate me or you clicked off the video, I completely understand. But I had to give you the Xenoverse 2 experience. Alright, so I'm gonna keep Xenoverse 2 a little bit short. Xenoverse 2 came out in 2016. It basically did everything that Xenoverse 1 did, but way better. So you have more transformations. You have the same amount of races. The story mode is pretty much the same, and the parallel quests are pretty much similar, except there's a lot more parallel quests, and there's a whole bunch of more characters, except you're gonna have to pay for half the rosters, so just get ready for that. Kanton City is way bigger, and basically the whole point of Xenoverse 2 is to basically make a character and then put as much cheese on that character as possible, get a little bit decent at the game, and then you'll excel in the rankings. Also, what makes Xenoverse 2 so special to me is, like, this was the Dragon Ball game where I truly, like, made friends. Like, I actually would go to school, people would play Xenoverse, we'd come home, we'd hop on Xbox, and we would just play the hell out of Xenoverse, man. Like, this was the game. So if you didn't do that, if you didn't get that experience back in like 2016, 17, I'm so sorry, but hopefully you can get it with Sparking Zero, because that game to me personally is probably going to be even better. Alright, if I had to rank these, I would definitely say Xenoverse 1, I'm going to put it in A tier, man. I'll probably put it behind FighterZ just because I know FighterZ is just a better game in general. And then Xenoverse 2, like, I'll definitely put that in S tier, absolutely. I have like 50 days in that game, which sounds like rookie numbers considering it's been out for 8 years, but hey, it's whatever. I did my time. So yeah, A tier, S tier. Alright, so with this next one, Dragon Ball Raging Blast, now we're almost to the end. I only have a couple more to do, but I'm gonna say Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2, I'm gonna rank them like together. So with Raging Blast, the only thing I'm really gonna say about that game is not only was it just graphically good at the time and it was fun, but it gave us Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Broly. Hard stop. Alright, Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. Here's what I remember. You had the World Tournament, which I was already sold right there. You had Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta, and Broly. Not to mention, I think I played this game online. This was the first one I really played online, just a little bit, but not too much. I was really going through the Galaxy mode. So Galaxy mode is basically the replacement of the story mode. You just take every character that you can play and go through a series of battles. And God forbid you play Vegeta, because then you're going to end up fighting androids with 0 HP. And if you were a child or even an adult back then, it probably took you several hours before you defeated them. Or you realized you could probably put like items on your character, that way you can get a buff in HP. But anyways, there's one thing about Raging Blast 2 that I think makes it unique out of all of them, and I can't remember if you can do this in Raging Blast, but Raging Blast 2, if you select a few characters, like if you take Goku, Krillin, and Gohan and you go up against Vegeta, you can actually do a team ultimate. And what I mean is, you don't just pop your ult. I mean, you actually need to select certain characters to be able to do it. So if you remember in the Saiyan Saga when Goku gave Krillin the Spirit Bomb, that's Krillin's team ult. So if Goku dies on your team, you can click assist, and then he'll give Krillin the Spirit Bomb, and then he'll throw it at Vegeta. If it hits Vegeta, Vegeta will jump over it, and then Gohan will like bounce it back at him, and it'll do like infinite damage. That's the coolest shit in this game. Also, there's a movie in this game, if you didn't know that. It's planned to eradicate, I think, like the Super Saiyans or something like that. So just imagine being like I was a kid, so just imagine being a kid. You have Dragon Ball, it's a good game, there's Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Broly, which is already kick-ass enough, and then they give you a movie. That was it, enough said. Raging Blast 2, it's just goated game. Alright, now Raging Blast 1 is definitely going into A tier, and Raging Blast 2, I know what you're thinking, Z tier, right? Well, you're wrong, it's going into S tier. Because I'm gonna be completely honest, man, like the combat just wasn't as good as Budokai Tenkaichi 3, but I will say that Raging Blast 2 was definitely more fun than Raging Blast 1, absolutely. So yeah, no, A tier and S tier. Now Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I saved the best for last. Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi Tag Team. This game was my childhood on the PSP. Like, I played this all the time. Like, if you liked Budokai Tenkaichi 3, imagine Budokai Tenkaichi 3, but 2v2s. So it's you and your friend fighting somebody else and their friend, and you can play this online. And I'm not just saying, oh, it's watered down version. I'm talking about you, Raging Blast. No, I mean like straight up, they took all the mechanics from Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and put it in this PSP game. It really just doesn't get any better than this. Now in this game, I played the hell out of the story mode. Like, it only went from Saiyan Saga to Buu Saga, and it sprinkled in some what ifs, but it was still fun because like you just roam around. It was kind of like Budokai Tenkaichi 2. You roam around as like a little chibi avatar of like whatever character you're gonna play, and you can switch into like your partner, whichever one you do want to play, because you'll decide who you're gonna play with depending on like the arc of the story. And you just fly around, and you could go to cities and talk to like little kids. Huh. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But hey, if you don't want to do that, you could always go fight Cell Juniors. What's up with all the kids on the map, man? But anyways, if you do all that, you can eventually get to the main objective, and you could fight whoever the boss may be. Me personally, I played a lot of survival. Now, I would try to like get all the way to 60, and I could do it, but most of the time I would get smoked. But me being the veteran I am today, I could definitely maybe get to 80, maybe. Hard maybe. But if you're not into that, then you could just go into free battle. And if you really want to torture yourself, if you're a masochist, pick Trunks and then take off your teammate so it's just you, and go up against Android 17 and 18 on the City Ruins map. And make sure the NPCs are very strong. They will jump you. If you ever seen the Jujutsu Kaisen meme where like Yuji is like jumping one of the cursed spirits or whatever, that's basically what this is. It is beat me up simulator. If you ever want to like simulate what it was like to be future Trunks and getting jumped by the androids all his life, this would be the game to do it in. Like, bro, they are so coordinated in this game. It is insane. And you would think, oh, this is just stupid, it's broken. No, it's fun. It's fun if you like hurting yourself, if you like being in pain. So if I had to rank this game, honestly, I'm putting it over Budokai Tenkaichi 3. It's Z tier, and honestly, if I made another little section, it would definitely be like Z plus tier. Like, it really doesn't get any better than this. It basically takes my favorite game on PlayStation 2 and makes it a 2v2 hectic fun, and you can play with your friend online. Even if it doesn't have as many characters and the story isn't as in-depth, still, it's just blatant fun. It just was. So yeah, without a doubt, Z tier. Alright, I hope you guys like this tier listing video. Basically, this is just like my childhood video games. Like, it wasn't like a real analyst, it was just based off of like how I felt about these games. So this is where I would rank everything. I also put Dokkan, Battle of Z, and Legends in these slots. So Dokkan is in S tier because it's just straight up a fun game. Like, I remember it took me about 5 tries to get into it, and then my game like soft locked on me, and I didn't know what to do, so I deleted it, came back, and my account was just gone. I forgot to link it to a Bandai account, so I will never go back to Dokkan. But for what it was worth, as I was playing it, my 5th attempt, it was a fun game. S tier. Dragon Ball Legends is in B tier, only because I just don't like the way it's going at the moment, but it is a solid game if you want a PvP mobile game until Project Multi comes out. Then, hey, you want to hop on a team? Hop on mine. Solo queuing in Project Multi is tough. And then Battle of Z, that game is just ugly. That game is just ugly. I remember playing the demo. There's a reason why I probably didn't buy it. So, yeah, or asked my dad to buy it. I think I was like 13 at the time. So, yeah, this is my tier list, man. I hope you guys enjoy this. Typically on this channel, like, I'll post like Budokai Tenkaichi 4 videos, but since Sparking Zero and Project Multi are on the way, I'll probably upload stuff like that. So if you're into Dragon Ball content, hey, stick around. But anyways, dap me up, my guy. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.